Hey everyone, welcome back to Minus Cast. This is episode 6. I'm with Nathaniel Bandy, D-Pad Gamer, Tetrabit Gaming, and myself, Swanky Box. And today we're actually going to be taking a step away from gaming for a little bit and kind of actually talking about before YouTube and after YouTube in terms of, I guess, our career paths and like what we're doing. So some of us have thought about this, some of us have not. So that's what's going to make it kind of funny, I guess. So I guess with that said, any of you guys want to talk, before first? Any takers?
So
how far back before do we want to go?
That's what I was just going to ask. Are we doing like after high
the
school,
age of 3,
after college? I feel like probably like first job would be a good place to start.
Yeah, I have like
we
previous jobs kind of experience. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do previous jobs, and we could also do like right before YouTube as well. Like what made you maybe put out those first videos and start doing it again or trying it.
Yeah. So I don't know if any of you know this, but my first job. Okay, actually, I want you to guess. What do you think my first job was?
I know what it is, so I'm not going to say.
Okay.
I think I know what it is.
You literally have no idea if I didn't tell you.
Okay.
No.
Okay, but it is what I think it is.
Well,
I have no
just
idea.
Take a guess. Any guess. I don't care what it is. D-pad?
You sold hot dogs in Sweden.
Swinky.
You cut lawns for people.
No. I was a bookkeeper
Oh.
when I was 17 years old. So
that's
like,
not what I thought it was.
Yeah.
What
So
do you think it was?
it's really, I shouldn't have even gotten this job because basically I took this super basic accounting class when I was in 10th grade. I passed it with like a B. It wasn't even that good a grade. And I signed up for this program for the school where basically they could help you find a job. And they somehow helped me find an accounting job. So over the summer for like 3 months, I was working there and I had no idea what I was doing. The guy had me working like I was an actual accountant and I ended up getting fired. So that was my first job. What about you guys? Do you have high school jobs?
I did. Trying to think if it was, I think it was grade 11th grade. We were going on a band trip. My parents were like, yeah, if you want to go, you're going to have to pay your own way. So I was like, okay, I'll pick up a job. So I got a job. It was like a clothing company. I think it's still around. It was called Blue Notes. I'm pretty sure it's a Canadian clothing company. It's kind of like that. I guess like teen clothing kind of store where they sell like graphic t-shirts that aren't licensed. It's just like generic t-shirts and stuff. So yeah, I was there for a couple months. It was just like folding jeans, folding t-shirts. It was kind of boring. It was like 3 hours, felt like forever every single time.
Oh man.
But I mean, it's good. I learned the value of a hard-earned $1.
Yeah.
And it was rough. Like back then, it was minimum wage. So I got like eight something an hour. Yeah, it was pretty low. It's like 8 Canadian free. That's like probably like $5-6 an hour American dollars. So it's pretty low.
Yeah, that's lower than wage here. Wage is, I think, still $7.25. I don't think they've raised it nationally.
Yeah. I think it depends on the state.
Yeah, some states are a lot better, but yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Anyone else?
I guess so. For my first job was actually in fast food. So
Nice.
Yeah, good
Did
old
you work
burgers.
at Jack in the Box?
No,
Oh,
I actually did not have
Darn
Jack
it.
in the Box for probably a very long time. I don't know if we don't even have them in Ohio.
I've never tried it at all.
Oh, okay.
It's not worth it.
It's not.
I've
Yeah,
only had their,
it doesn't look
I don't know.
good, honestly.
Their breakfast stuff's pretty good from what I remember. I've only had it like once or twice, but
I had it at VidCon this probably
Nice.
almost the first time this last year. So,
Okay.
But-
it wasn't bad. They have tacos and they have burgers and other stuff, but
they do have that Sonic sponsorship for the movie, which is pretty sick.
Oh,
That's
I
right.
have not heard of that.
It was like a meme. It was like a meme last week because like people like obviously Sonic makes more sense to be a sponsor for Sonic, like a Sonic restaurant.
Right. Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, when you think Jack in the Box, what do you think of? Sonic? Because it was like, the Sonic restaurant. It's like sells chili dogs, has the name Sonic, isn't associated with Sonic the Hedgehog. It's like makes no sense. But yeah, it's pretty good.
so yeah,
That's
I worked
funny.
at fast food for probably about 5 years, going
Oh,
to
wow.
college and stuff like
Damn.
that. But it was actually very interesting because like I learned so much through that job because I was, hardcore introvert growing up. So
Right.
like having to deal with people you want to deal with, you get to talk to every single type of person when you work at a place like that.
The fast food. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
you
I worked
get
at Papa
angry old
John's when I
people.
was in college, so yeah, I had the
Yeah, that's what I
exact
thought your
same
first job was.
Yeah, I mean, that was like my first long-lasting job. That was about
Oh, okay.
2 years before I ended up quitting. That was actually, it got to the point where I was doing YouTube and Papa John's and school, and eventually YouTube was actually making more than Papa John's was, so I decided to quit Papa John's. But I was there for like 2 years still, which felt like a century.
You're part of Papa's kingdom, part of
Yes.
the Papa
was.
Mafia.
He
I
came
was
from
part of
within
the
the
mafia.
house.
I feel like pizza places have a bit of a different feeling to them than like fast food does, though. Because like,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. What did you do at Papa John's? Was it like order taking? Was it like
So like
pizza
I did
assembler?
Well, I did basically everything. Like technically my job was delivery driver, but as soon as
You
I
little
got back
Papa.
from a delivery, I was making pizzas, I was cutting pizzas, I was doing dishes, I was answering phone calls. I did literally everything while I was there, except like open and close the store.
Pizza god.
Yep. Pretty much. I
So-
was like a pizza god. What about you, D-Pad?
I've been nervous to share because my history is very short. I've literally only had one job in between schooling and this. Technically two, but the job was no longer available after like 3 days, so I don't know what happened there. But so I went to it's relevant. I went to school for electronics and robotics, but it's technically a technical arts degree, which makes it way less prestigious. But still, it was enough to get me an electronics technician job, working on medical equipment. I want to say what specifically for, because there's only so many companies out there, right?
Yeah.
Depending on the thing. But I was working on that for like 6 months, 5 months after out of community college. And it was like, they let me go because I was like a part-timer. And they're like, oh, no, come back. It's cool. So I worked again, but it was just the second time around, it was a night job and it was soul draining. So I stopped that and then burnt through all my savings until YouTube worked out. And that's my entire job history, really.
Yeah, I was so close to burning through all my savings too for YouTube. Like I was making like $10,000 a year for I think 2 years straight, which is if you're not past high school, that's not a lot to live off of. It's very, very little.
Yeah, for
So-
like a solid chunk of the first some odd months. This was in 2016 when I was giving YouTube another go. A lot of my money for rent for like some of those months were coming from the Seth Rogen Cantina video I made. Like it got onto the important videos playlist. That was my revenue stream for like a solid chunk of time.
Oh my god! I didn't know you had a video on the important videos playlist.
I'm number
Wow.
23, I think.
That's so cool. I had no idea.
Yeah. The Seth Rogen Cantina one. He's like, I made that as a dumb like response to a Reddit comment, and it got put on there somehow. Last I checked, it's like 10 million, but it got
That's so
my channel
cool.
got demonetized after a certain point because it wasn't bringing anything in anymore. But
Oh man.
that was my golden goose for a time. In terms of jobs before YouTube, that's pretty much it. The job that disappeared was just more electronics.
Do you have any other jobs, Swanky? I think you were like a videographer for a while, weren't you?
Yeah, I used to do like animating video for a company. I worked at an ad agency for a little bit. When you actually were talking about the medical company, it reminded me that one time it was like post college or whatever. I was doing some kind of talk about, what I was doing with my education that I got at college. And there was someone in the audience, and at the time I was working at a company who, they had various clients that came in for this certain type of software, right? I remember I referred. This company's like, hey, the software you're describing would be a perfect solution for what we need. So I ended up referring this guy to this company. Mind you, this is a huge company I work for. And I just remember it was like, I guess my not really first taste of like corporate greed, but basically how it works is if you refer someone, if that person becomes a customer, then, or that company becomes a customer they referred, you get like $100.
Oh wow.
Okay, so $100. This was probably like a $400,000 deal.
Wow.
Per year. So signing this company on, it's retention. So they pay $400,000 a year to big X corporation.
Right.
Meaning, since I did this is probably back in 2011 or 12, so they probably made a couple $1 million off this. It's just really interesting. Like, employee gets $100.
Yeah.
Megacorp gets infinite money.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I am not working in corporate America anymore.
I think I've seen better referral rates for like things like Uber and stuff. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like,
Yeah, seriously.
The ratio.
like that's rough. Yeah, or not even just the ratio, but just the dollar amount. Like I just whatever app, right? But that's
Right, yeah.
rough.
It made no sense. Honestly, it made no sense at all.
Did you get the 100 though? You got that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, at least you got it.
But it took me probably 2 years at the referral because that's how long the sales cycle was.
It's wild.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out why my hat is like backwards. Why I'm like mirrored.
No,
Oh.
I think mine is the wrong way.
Yeah, no, yours is the right way. Like I'm
No,
looking
no.
at your video.
But not on
You
my
guys
When I
side.
see you guys,
On mine, it looks
what-
wrong.
yeah, I think what you're seeing yourself is flipped, but for everyone else, it's normal. Like, I guess
Oh,
both of
I was,
your
like, so
guys'
concerned.
hats are this like normal for me.
Yeah.
Okay,
As is
cool.
like Swanky's a smash ball.
Okay, cool. I was like, this isn't
It's
right.
so trippy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think what other. Yeah, so I've had a bunch of jobs through the years.
I've had a bunch of small jobs as well.
Yeah. After the clothing company, I worked at a mom and pop video game store. That was fun.
Oh,
I worked there for
nice.
like 2 years. I think it was like the later half of grade 11, most of grade 12. It was fun. Like it was like a mom and pop shop, so like a lot of trade-ins and stuff. I got like first dibs on a lot of stuff
Nice.
for
That'd be
pretty
sick.
cheap. Yeah, it was also rough because like I also saw like how much they were underpaying for trade-ins. How much my boss was.
Oh,
I'm like, that's
yeah.
not right. He'd give like I just remember like he gave someone like $8 for Luigi's Mansion for GameCube, and then turn around and sell it for $80. I'm like, that's not
Oh
right.
my god,
It
that's
was so brutal.
ridiculous.
It was so brutal. But I guess like, yeah, he's just playing on like people's desperation to trade it in or whatever.
I
It's
didn't know-
actually it's funny you mentioned that because there's this place that I kind of worked for. I'm not going to say who they are, just to be respectful, but they did the exact same thing, where they would like take things and give the person almost no money, sell it for outrageous prices. They even sculpted Amiibo, for crying out loud, when that used to be a thing. And
Yeah.
they ended up going out of business because their prices were so crappy and they were way too high.
Yeah.
And I don't feel bad
Yeah.
about that. So
The
Yeah.
way you described that mom and pop, I was like, I didn't know GameStop was a mom and pop.
That's what I was waiting this entire time to make the joke that their last name was actually just GameStop.
Yeah. Mr. and Mrs. GameStop.
Yeah.
Ruining all the Canadian kids' streams of
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's rough.
Yeah. It was a good job though. Like it was one of those like store like they had like a party room in the back. So like every weekend there'd be like a kids party. So like you'd set up this was like back in the day. So like Modern Warfare 2 and 3 were super popular or whatever. So like throw them on the Xbox, all the kids are having a blast in the back playing like local multiplayer.
that's cool.
It was really fun. Yeah. I'm trying to think after that. I'm trying to think the order of my jobs. I worked for Nintendo of Canada for a bit. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh wow.
I did not
I
know
was
that either.
Yeah, I was
You and BitGirl have worked for Nintendo. The Nintendo.
yes, the Nintendo of Canada. I was only with them for like it was only like a seasonal job, so I was only with them for a couple months. I was pretty much a rep. That's like the easiest way to explain it. I had an engineering job. That's what I studied, and I kind of had a summer job for that for a couple months. That was like it was like more industrial stuff. So I was working on like pumping systems and railroad stuff. It was fun. Like it was my first like not video game retail job kind of thing. It was like a more hands-on real job.
Mhm.
It was a lot of good experience. It was kind of like that was kind of what I was planning to do if YouTube didn't work out. I guess we'll get back to that for future plans and stuff. But after that, I worked at Best Buy for a while too, for 2-3 years. I can't remember the exact amount, but I just quit not too long ago. I guess a year ago. I mostly just like I was doing that school, YouTube all at the same time. It was kind of getting pretty draining. I pretty much only stuck around for the discount. Like the pay was whatever. I didn't really care. I just had friends there. I liked the discount, which definitely helped with YouTube. Like I was able to buy a lot of stuff for a nice discount. But it was fun. Like out of all my retail jobs, that one was probably the funnest, most fun. I mean, sure, you still get like mediocre customers, but it was kind of fun. Like none of my like upper management was super serious. Like they didn't care if you sold X amount of TVs or phones, whatever. It was kind of just chill. Kind of just hung out every weekend.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I thought before going to YouTube, I actually had a decent job at that's company I was at in terms of what I was doing, but like it just became so soul draining. But like I got to do a lot of cool stuff, like cool animations and advertisements and stuff, and a lot of video things, hands-on with camera, putting together productions and stuff like that. Now it's just funny because like I go from crazy set production to now just
One
you know,
room.
one room, filming on your bed in your apartment or something. Like that's that's how it was. And like it's just interesting how you don't need all that stuff to make an impact.
Right.
Which is it's just kind of crazy being completely on that side of the spectrum, super high end production stuff to now I still consider the stuff I do, pretty good production. It's very interesting that like it's so much simpler in terms of not having to go out and orchestrate all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I had a camera operator job for like 1 semester when I went to college, so I got some experience with like professional video stuff. But beyond that, like I've mostly just like worked in my room and that's it. So like now I have an office. So like where I live, it's like, I mean, if you've seen my videos, you've seen my whole place. But yeah, I have like 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom. It used to be just 1 bedroom. That was it. My bed was in the room and my computer. I did everything in that one tiny room. And that's how it is for, a lot of us. Just 1 room. Yep.
Yeah.
So
I moved my bed into the living room just so I have space for the office.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good. That's a pro tip for anyone that's trying to get into YouTube. Do not sleep where you work. That's very, very unhealthy.
I feel like that applies to literally anything.
Well, yes, that's
just
true.
don't sleep where you work because it's
anything.
so rough.
Right.
Like I remember,
your mind, like doesn't doesn't turn off when you're trying to go to sleep. All you think about is work. And that's it.
Yeah. Don't sleep in the McDonald's in the back room.
Yes. Don't do
if
that.
You're working at McDonald's. don't sleep back there.
I can't recommend that.
Like I said, never have slept at a fast food establishment, even while working there.
Yeah, I guess don't sleep in a fast food establishment in general. Probably not the best idea.
What you're saying, you haven't done it yet.
One time, this dude, I forgot what his name was, but he was in a relationship with one of the managers, so she would let him sleep on the pizza bags, like take naps while he was working for like an hour.
The hell?
He only did it a couple times, but like I walked into work one day, he's just taking a nap on all the pizza delivery bags. I'm like, okay, guess I can't use those ones.
Yeah,
this is funny.
Jeez.
What if it was actually just Papa John's? Like Papa John's.
Oh my God, you are the Papa, and that is the benefit you get.
Papa. I don't think that was Papa. He was like this really big, muscular dude. Papa's not quite that size.
He's getting there. A couple more pizzas and he'll get there.
That's right. Yep.
Another 47 a month, he'll get there. Yeah. No, on the bed thing, I was just gonna say, I've like actually for years I've had it where it's like my computer was like right next to the bed, so like it always like shared like because my room isn't even that big, even as an office, it's still cramped. I think I like there have been days where like because the bathroom is like right outside. I've gone less than like 30 feet maximum, like in the entire day, and that is awful. Now I have to go like slightly farther because my bed's out there.
That's good.
But yeah,
I try to go outside like once a day because if I don't go outside, because usually I'll do like a 45-hour walk or something. If I don't do that, I'm just gonna be inside most of the time. So
Right.
I always try to get a little bit of fresh air.
How about now that we've talked pre-YouTube, what about post? Has anyone given any thoughts in terms of like, say X amount of years in the future, you upload your last video and you're like, okay, I think I'm done. And that could be a very, very long time from now. It's interesting. I think we're in a time period where I'm seeing a lot of creators that I grew up watching transition and kind of fading off. I mean, you guys remember like Ray William Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Equals 3. I mean, he just evaporated, right? And now he occasionally throws like documentaries up on Facebook. But like, I feel like we're going to see more and more of that. Like a lot of people, I mean, Filthy Frank going to, is it Joji?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing that. Now that's his thing. I mean, you could even kind of say it, not quite with H3 Productions, but like,
they
went from making the videos.
But...
Right.
Yeah.
But the podcast is like, no, not what they were doing before. And like, I feel like they probably won't ever go back to doing what they were doing before. So it's kind of like in a way transitioning where they had a launching point on YouTube and the transitioning to something else.
Yeah.
So essentially, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I get what you're saying. I'm gonna make a comparison, but I know you guys aren't super keen in. But like for example, League of Legends with their esports, I think is a huge or a really good comparison because like it's not like there's been League of Legends players since the 1940s, right? Like the game came out some odd years ago, 10 years I think. So you've seen pro players like rise and retire. Some come up and, like in a certain position, like so. Like for YouTube, it's like they're making certain type of content, and they swap it up to be a streamer or a different position in the team, or some even retire to be coaches or management. Some own teams now, and then some just straight up leave. And I feel like that's a lot of what we'll see. Is not just people leaving, but yeah, the evolution into. I think I would actually say they've mostly changed. Like they try to do their videos, but the podcast is their thing now.
Right. Yeah.
And not that it's a bad thing, but it's definitely just like things change. Like sometimes it's more, workable in terms of like a revenue stream, or creatively you just want to do something different.
Yeah, I think as you grow older too, your needs change.
Yeah.
Right.
Seeing a lot of, many years ago, I used to obviously, one of my inspirations starting out, there was Markiplier, there's a guy named Devin Supertramp, and then there was Matt Pat from Game Theorist. I can honestly say I stopped watching, Game Theory probably a year and a half ago or
I
so.
stopped watching them like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
same.
like, I mean, it's just, to me, it's like and whatever they're doing is fine.
Mhm.
It's not bad. It's just it hasn't changed, hasn't evolved at all.
Well, I think for
that's
me,
why I
it's
got
like
tired
more
of
so
it.
the games. Right now it's like FNAF and it's like Minecraft, right?
Yeah.
But like even then, you can kind of see how, in terms of maybe their craft hasn't changed, but their lives have changed because they're parents now, and like it's like kind of a different thing. And then I also see like Markiplier, like I like a Markiplier, and like I remember watching his stuff. I watched him when he was relatively small, and then he
Yeah.
blew up.
I remember.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say I remember 'cause I think I subbed him when he was like 900,000 because I remember like he'd have like a milestone video like at 1 million, and then 1 point like he kept having milestone videos like yeah, when he was like right when he was blowing up at that time.
Yeah,
Like
I think
2013.
Yeah, when he hit 600,000, it was like game over. He just
Yeah.
And I think Finance and Freddy's had a lot to do with that.
Oh
But
yeah.
well, at that point, but he had already gotten to that mark. But like even seeing what he's doing now, it's like he throws the gaming videos up here and there. But like, have you guys watched the second channel, Unasanas?
No,
No,
not yet.
I
Oh
just
my
heard of
gosh.
that because like a random
Please.
clip got on Reddit.
Please watch it. It is so funny. But like, I don't think the channel's even monetized. Correct me if I'm wrong. But like, they're just uploading this stuff because it's fun. But it's
Mhm.
just this kind of transition I'm seeing amongst other creators, and like even I don't know, like even occasionally there'll be people, a pop up on Twitter that YouTube's like, a YouTuber will be like, okay, hey, I had my run, I'm done, and
Mhm.
then I might not even know them, but I find that so interesting. Like they had the beginning and they had their end, and like what's next?
Yeah, I've seen. I tend to tune into a lot of those videos because they do get recommended, even though it's like, oh, this Lego YouTuber, oh, I'll watch that. Just a random, like whatever random like topic, right? Like them either changing up. I remember, I thought it was really interesting because there was the channel. Oh God, now I'm blanking.
Channel awesome.
No, no.
This guy does
He's
Minecraft.
no. You know what? I want to find his name because I don't want to. No, I remember. Sorry. RT Game. You guys heard of him?
I've heard of that guy. I've
Yeah,
never
yeah.
watched his videos though.
So his videos, he was doing TF2 for a long time, and he said in a video, which was he did like a two-parter, is like, hey, I'm just not feeling it. I don't hate the game, but I want to do something different. And he started streaming a lot more eventually, and like basically what he did is starting to do these sort of variety games, and his channel blew up. It was at like 30-40K, something in the tens, or less than 100,000, I think. But at this point, he has over 1 million subscribers, and this was just within the last 2 years or a year and a half or something like that. And it's like weird because I
sounds
saw him
exactly like
just
Donkey.
after his change,
Hmm.
and so yeah, like sometimes like people or certain creators or I guess even companies will just like completely change things up. And I think it's really interesting to see. It's not always
Right.
successful, but for those that it is, it's especially interesting, I think.
Yeah, and So I guess with that in mind, right? Because that's still transitioning, I guess, a bit into the entertainment space as well. For I guess for yourself, like you stopped doing YouTube. I knew you guys, and I can
Mhm.
even speak to this too. Like maybe later down the line, you got everything you wanted out of YouTube, and it was great, and you had fun. But at some point, people, regardless of what their career is, they typically have some sort of career change. I mean, well, some people do
Hmm.
anyways. Like
Yeah.
maybe
Mhm.
they get bored with what they're doing. Um, I think we're kind of blessed in the way that the content that we make, we do have a lot of creative freedom in terms of what we do make.
Yeah.
Um, but like I also wonder sometimes, like, what if I wasn't, tied to social media and had something that's based on numbers and all these things, and like, for myself, I guess I'll start. I've always thought like, when I was much older, I probably would be writing books and like and stuff like that. Um, Something where it's like I can still put my creative energy into something, but it's not so much tied to I have to have a video out this week or I have to have this week. Something a lot more free form where I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to take a month off, go somewhere, you know, try to start writing a book. Um, that's something I've been thinking about. It's still a ways off, and I still do right now, but I'm thinking like very far down the line, like what is that future going to be like? Will it be off YouTube?
Hmm.
Um, it's always interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally, think if I mean, there's a lot of stuff I could do that would be very different, but still on YouTube. If it wasn't connected to social media at all, I think I'd probably want to go back to school to get a bachelor's, which would require me to like retake a lot of classes because I don't think the credits I have are necessarily applicable. But it'd be cool to get into like robotics more as a career because I've always thought robotics is really really cool. Um, just in general, I don't know if I would enjoy it as a career, but like seeing for example like all the Boston Dynamics stuff is just like oh my god, it's so
Scary, dude.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what at whatever point I stop YouTube, maybe it'll be at that point where like I want to be a sentient AI developer or like have like Android developers like that'll just be a thing you can do.
Hmm.
Like I don't know, because that's the other thing. Like as time goes on, like more and more jobs will change and open up. Because like automation is a big thing these days that wasn't like 10 years ago.
Also makes me wonder, like, you talked about earlier transitioning to like live streaming and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could see myself like doing like a Netflix show or like some other kind of like not so much like creator curated content, but more
Mm-hmm.
so like I guess higher production stuff where like working with a team of people to create something kind of cool, but like it would be like an actual series on a TV show. Or, I'm sorry, on like Netflix or something like that.
Hmm.
That might be kind of cool too. And like even out of the sphere of gaming, because like a lot of us we operate on gaming, but we have I imagine, like you said, you're interested in robotics, D-pad. A lot of us have these passions outside of that, outside of gaming, that we could also do, technically career paths in as well. What
What
about
about
you, Tetra and Nathan?
It's kind of weird because like, so I went to school to shoot films basically, and now I'm kind of doing that already. So I don't think I'm ever going to leave this industry. But I've always like I feel like when I reach 30, I'm going to hit a point where I'm going to be like, okay, do I really want to keep doing gaming stuff? Because I am 26 now. I think in like 3 to 4 years, I'm going to be ready to have like a big change. So I feel like the next thing I would do is either start doing like music because I do like playing drums. I want to actually learn more instruments, so I think it'd be really cool to go down that path. So I'd probably do that. I would definitely like to make actual movies, with like a team of people professionally. I think that'll be great.
Hmm.
But like I want to first try to do that on my own. That's kind of like what I'm going for now. Like I have some big projects in the works where it's going to be much higher production. So I'll see
Right.
if I kind of like doing that because I don't know yet. But I guess that's like the next things. I think that's what I would probably do after YouTube. I'd like to get it back into speedrunning, actually. I really liked speedrunning Mario 64 when I did that 4 or 5 years ago. So I would love to like actually take that seriously for a couple years and just see how good I can get at a couple of games that I really like. But
It's
beyond that,
because
I have no
go
idea.
ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say beyond that, I don't really know what I would want to do because like I'm already in a really, like I'm basically doing what I wanted to do. So
Right. And I think it's the hard part is like I wouldn't change anything right now. I feel like
Yeah.
it's like I get to do something I absolutely love, and I'm very fortunate to be able to do that. It's interesting you said that about like you said drums and stuff like that. I think I just saw I don't know if you guys watch Alpharad at all. I don't really watch a lot of the content, but I follow him on Twitter. It
yeah,
seems like
he said he's
Yeah, I
gonna
saw
be
that
pursuing
post.
music too, which I think like
Yeah.
he's in a position where that totally makes sense for him to do other things because his channel is giant and his viewership is super consistent and it's
Yep.
very, very good viewership. So I think it's good for him that he's branching out and doing other things. So I mean, kind of like a lot of the because I would consider him like a mega giant channel. He has like almost 2 million subscribers. I think a lot of
For
the
like a
giant
Nintendo channel,
channels-
that's really good.
Yeah.
Besides him and SMG, there's like him, SMG4, Super Mario Logan. They're like the only super giant Nintendo channels that I can think of.
I guess like Austin John Plays. I think anything over 1 million is
Well,
considered
yeah.
like a big Nintendo YouTuber.
Yeah, I would consider
Yeah.
anything
I think
over 1 million is giant, but
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of like a glass ceiling we kind of have. It comes to like probably around where you are, Nathan. Like I guess up to like 70 or 750,000. It's tough to break that for a Nintendo channel. I feel like most
yeah,
of them
'cause
kind of
we're
hover around
super
that point.
niche. Yeah, 'cause,
Yeah,
like, I guess right now my goal is 1 million subscribers. But after that, I don't even know what I'm gonna do because like I'm not gonna have a subscriber goal anymore.
yeah.
So it's probably just gonna be just trying to like pursue things but still tie them with gaming and then
Yeah.
like slowly fade out into things beyond gaming. So I think it's kind of like what SMG4 is doing because they have Meta Runner. And I'm not going to say, like, they have more projects in the works that isn't SMG4. That's all I'll say. But they are branching out to do more things beyond just gaming. So I think it would be kind of cool to do, you know, something along the lines of that. What about
Tetra.
you, Tetra?
You're in the hot seat.
I guess hot take from everyone
Hot
else so far.
take.
I'd probably go to like a regular job. I'd probably switch
Hmm.
back to 9 to 5. I still probably do like hobby stuff on the side. Like I do enjoy playing music and stuff, so I probably keep pursuing that. I don't know if I'd like try to do it for. It's tough to be a musician to do that for a living.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that are musicians, and they can do it, but it's tough. It's tough to get into that industry, and most of the time, if you are in that industry, you'll be playing stuff you don't necessarily want to. You'll just be playing stuff because it pays the bills, kind of thing. So I probably
What's
keep that as a
cool is-
hobby.
The thing is, you
No, go
can
ahead.
turn that hobby into a career because you already have an audience right now.
Yeah, that's the really good thing. Because I guess like being a YouTuber, the lines are getting kind of blurred. As long as you have a following, you can. As long as you have like an exit path, you can make it work. Like you can transition to some things. You'll still get a chunk of your following, kind of following you wherever you go, regardless if it is video games or whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
But like I guess I'd try that. But I guess I would go to a regular job. Just to have that as a steady source of income, just so I'm not like trying radical things, and in case it doesn't work out, I don't have money to pay the mortgage and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I have my degree. I'll probably try to get something in my field. I mean, I guess the longer I don't get a job in that field, the harder it's going to be, I guess, to apply in those jobs. Like, let's say in 5 years, because what am I going to put on my resume? Like YouTuber, it's like that doesn't really apply to most of these other jobs.
Solution
they'll be like,
is
well-
you just do YouTube for the rest of your life. Or Twitch.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I guess
feel
like
that-
being a
I kinda
YouTuber,
hope
you do
that's
get a.
me. I don't like. It'd be super cool if I can save up enough so I don't have to have a real job like ever. Don't know if it'll happen.
Yeah,
but-
if you can
Still
live
hold
off dividends, if you can live on like
Yeah.
you just live
Dude,
off
that
of
would be
stocks
amazing.
and
Hold on. Wait, hold on. Let's. YouTube is a real job. We cannot.
Well, yes.
that's why I say quotations, like
Let's set
for
the
the boomers in the back.
Well, we say that because the income is super inconsistent.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like there is no like guarantee how much you're going to make every month. You have no idea.
Yeah.
But if you're
Yeah.
smart and you invest your extra money, then you're going to be fine. Once you
Yeah.
you know start to get more established.
Yeah, and I guess when I say like a regular job, I mean like a steady, like you have a salary and like you're guaranteed X amount of dollars every month or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
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 What was I gonna say?
See, like on my end, I don't think I could ever go back to that because that's why I came from.
It's
and-
tough. Like we're spoiled. There's no going
Yeah.
about. Like it's.
See,
I'd say we're
like-
kind of spoiled.
I don't know. I feel like Tetra, if you did that, you would work at wherever it is, a more normal job for like 6 months. You'd be like, wow, this sucks. I have to get up early again. I have to do things I don't want to do, and I don't have time off whenever I want it.
Yeah.
It's like that's
what I mean. Like
we have very, very great luxuries that I think all of us forget about.
oh,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah.
Okay, I was
Go
just gonna say, I was thinking about it because like, Bandy, you're saying how you're basically doing what you went to school for, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, I wish I was using my degree, but technically, a lot of what I learned in my classes was like with like electronics troubleshooting. I'm like, oh, that's side tangent to like glitches and stuff. Like technically,
Yeah, kind of.
like that sort of troubleshooting like concepts have actually come up a lot when I'm like trying to or sort of try to recreate, get footage of glitches because it's like there's a certain level of like troubleshooting you got to do when stuff's not working out.
Right.
But yeah, I've never done like too much programming, but like I don't know. I wish I could say, oh, dude, I'm gonna become a game developer, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
That would be
I think
really
being a-
cool, actually.
I think it's tough to be a game dev though. Like people.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Really want to do it, but I think there's a lot to it to being a game dev.
Well,
especially
friend
being
of
an indie
mine
game
is,
dev.
friend of mine is an indie game dev, and it took him, I think 2 years to release one game. 2
Yeah.
years to release one, and it's a really small game. He's just like, because when you're an indie game dev, you have to have other jobs on the side. So he's working technically 2 other jobs, and he's trying to build this game out, and he only just released it on Steam recently.
Yeah.
So
It's definitely
it's very, very difficult.
We've been doing the game for probably a year and a half, 2 years, and like it's probably the hardest part of my week is
Wow.
because switching gears. I go from YouTube land to Unity land, and it's like, okay, well, hold on, that that character's animation isn't playing correctly. Hey, do we have these assets to plug into the game? Hey, we're having some glitches over here. Like it's a lot of because mine's, I guess, a big part of it is also management too, having to manage a team of people, which is a very, very interesting experience. It's actually very difficult, especially if you aren't 100% in it, because I'm split between the two worlds, YouTube and then the game dev stuff. And it's it makes me realize it's okay, but it makes me realize how much hell Luke and Kevin must have gone through for Meta Runner,
Oh yeah.
I can't even imagine. Yeah.
because their team is about 2 or 3 times the size of the one I'm working with. So
I think they had 4 or 5 people animating for Meta Runner.
they have a team of like I think like 10, 12 people.
Yeah.
Or
It's
more.
wild.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize they grew more than that.
Yeah, because they have sound
Jeez.
people, they have editors, they have the 3D modelers and animators. You probably
Right.
have the actual
Wow.
set designers who make the 3D environments.
We need to get them on the podcast because I want to hear more about this. We're gonna bug them,
Yeah.
guys, to get on this cast. They're very, very busy, so it's hard for them to find time to do stuff like this.
It's also like they would have time too, but the time difference is so great.
They're like in the
Oh, yeah.
future.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like
They're
20
in
hours in the
Australia,
future.
so the time trying to match up good times is very, very difficult.
I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say 2 things. One thing I was going to say, like we were talking about game devs. I think like developing and releasing the games like half the battle, because after that you have to compete with like 20,000 other game dev studios that
20 million.
are trying to get their game recognized too, right? So
Right.
like just getting your game out there, it's like I guess it's the same, if not harder, as like breaking out on YouTube.
Yep.
In the like the game developer sphere. Like there's so much competition and saturation. You got to kind of like make your game stand out or catch a lucky break.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, I was gonna say these days with game devs, it's like there's no more make a game, it's out there and you're done. Like it's not like they're still patching Ocarina of Time, but like things like Terraria, like it's coming to an end. Like Factorio is a game I love. Stardew Valley, like a lot of these games, like they get out there and just like they get added to it and like they get polished, and some of them they do it almost as a service. So it's like the
Right.
idea is they don't want it to ever end. But like I wonder how many of these devs they put something out and the fans latch on and they're like, ah crap, got to keep going with it. So that is its own challenge. And
That's the
Yeah.
worry too. Is like, I mean, say I put this game out, right? And then say it does very well. I'm like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
Where's the sequel? Gotta make the
Yeah,
next one.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then like, do I want to do a sequel? Like, it's
Yeah.
just, it's that's another thing too, because then I'm like, I don't know what I would even do then.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like it's kind of when and you're absolutely right, Tetra, when we were talking about the work that goes into it. When I was
Mhm.
doing the book and I released, my book, it was, the book felt like a monumental thing to release, right? But honestly, all the work starts once you're done with the thing that you're making.
Yeah.
And that's where it's just like, good
Yeah.
grief.
If no one's buying it, it's worthless, right? So you gotta like
Well, I
try.
mean, it depends. I mean,
Well,
like,
yeah. So I mean, I don't mean worthless because it is a lot of experience. You do learn a lot writing the book. Like it is like I guess a legacy of yourself. Like even if it's still there, right?
yeah. So like,
Um,
even if like the game thing, like if the game thing doesn't do super crazy well,
yeah.
I'm not making the game. The game thing for me isn't like a money thing. It's just like I want to make
Right.
a game, and it's
Yeah.
like if it does okay or it does below average, it's okay because like I'll still be able to. I feel like it's still kind of a cool thing to have out there, and then I can be like, I'm an author, I'm a game dev, I'm a YouTuber.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm a keynote speaker. I'm this and that and this and that. Like I'll hand someone a business card and it'll be like one of those boards. Like,
Hell yeah.
I can do
I don't have
one
a
of
business
everything.
card. I have a business scroll.
Yeah. It's just a scroll. You have to like unravel it. Just like
It's a
all these
origami.
bullet points. Yeah, origami. But yeah, on that note, the other thing I was gonna mention is like you're listing all these things as a author, keynote speaker, all that stuff. But I was just gonna say, even as a YouTuber, you do if you do everything as a one man show, or even if you I guess hire people, there are a lot of experiences you get with that too. Like you become a scriptwriter, you become a like set designer, you become a videographer, you become a video editor, you learn how to manage. Like if you do hire help, you get managing experience. Stuff like that is like again, like I'm just saying, if I did apply for another job down the road, that is kind of stuff that does apply to I guess
Right.
a bigger more things than just YouTube. Like you learn a lot of skills that are applicable to other jobs, I guess the best way to put it.
Yeah.
So I guess the final question, given that we have very little time left, if your exit strategy, or say, you came to a point in your career, but then you were offered a good job at YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or one of these other platforms that you've become accustomed to,
Mhm.
would you consider taking that job, or would you say no?
What would the job be?
Well, I mean, just think of
Like
anything you could
Community
do
manager or something.
I
Yeah,
would
like, think of-
probably I would work for YouTube. I think that would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, cause like I don't I mean, YouTube's not going to die anytime soon. It's owned
Right.
by Google. It's like, I guess, I mean, any of those platforms that you said, I think they're all very stable to work at. So I would probably
Mhm.
work at one of them.
Yep.
Eventually, not anytime soon. It would be a long time from now, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I would say a future me might. Me currently would say never, because any sort of position like that, you're naturally going to end up having to put away your like all your freedoms that you have now. Now, that
Right,
sounds like
yeah.
you're going into prison,
Uh,
but like the idea of like it's like the opposite. Like everyone that left BuzzFeed, like not just that they got to make that I Love BuzzFeed video, which kickstarts their career, but it's like when they leave BuzzFeed, they became independent creators, and I feel like it's sort of the opposite, where you no longer be an independent creator, you now be part of this bigger thing, which
Right.
could mean more money, more opportunities to do a lot of cool stuff, but you're still sort of having to give up something there. But like
Right.
in 10 years, maybe I'll be super down for that. Like,
well, I think it's the one thing. I guess the opposite is the people who worked at BuzzFeed may have not had an online presence before BuzzFeed, right?
yeah,
BuzzFeed then gave him the online presence, right? The thing about being, I don't want to say poached, but like if you were offered a job from one of these companies, they're offering you that job because they know you're good at what you do.
Mhm.
And I think that's a different situation, because you probably wouldn't be going in at an entry level position. You'd be going up higher up on the ladder. I think of like
sure.
Ryan Fwiz, is it FWIZ? I'm not
Yeah.
sure how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Was a Call of Duty streamer, YouTuber, now runs, one of the people
All
who
of
runs
YouTube
The
gaming.
head of YouTube
Yeah.
gaming. Yeah.
So like something like that, and he's from Ohio. It's like something like that is an interesting thing where I think he had the opposite, where in his position, yes, it is stressful, right? But he has also a dedicated team that helps him do these things. But he's probably on a schedule, like you guys were saying, like maybe he puts in 50 hours a week, 45 hours a week. But when he leaves his job after the workday is done, he is off. He's not probably thinking about it, or hopefully he's not.
Yeah.
Thing with YouTube is it's very hard to shut off what we do.
Yeah.
Granted, I still absolutely love what we do, but I think that's the one difference you have with that 9 to 5 type job is like when it's the weekend, you're off the clock. You're not even thinking about work stuff or after work hours. Like but then you do have to get up early. You have to either drive to the office or if you have a remote position, like there's pluses.
There's pros and cons. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I identify that with a lot because, like, I don't know, like working as a YouTuber, like my boss is always talking about the work, and I'm also him, so it's like, no,
Yeah.
It's like it's both being the guy who is like getting the call on the weekend, like, oh, dude, I don't want to go into work, and you are that guy, and like that's like constantly happening. I just this last week, and I was like, I should have this day off, and I just couldn't, like relax. I did play Minecraft for like 6 hours, but that didn't feel that great.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny we're talking about this because I took my first like long vacation. It was like 2 weeks off from December to January of this year, and it took like a full week before I finally turned myself off. And then when I did, I came back. I'm like, wow, I feel really guilty. Even after taking so much time off, I still felt guilty for taking time off. It's really bad.
Yeah. I think streamers have it the worst for taking time off. I saw someone posted like a couple days ago, like the taking like a week off, like you'll lose like half of your subs on Twitch or whatever.
Right.
And I just hear like streamers talk about that all the time. Like every day you don't stream, you don't make any money at all. It's not like YouTube where your video still kind of generates some background revenue for you. But yeah, if you don't stream, no income at all, you'll lose subs because they either forget sub or they just move on to another stream or whatever. So that world's kind of tough in its own way as well.
Yeah,
you have to be super. You have to like stream every day. Like you can't take as many days off, kind of thing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I think one of the benefits of you guys stream occasionally.
Yeah,
I'll eventually stream occasionally, but in the future I will. But like I think with us, we do have the potential, hypothetically, to batch produce all our work, to then take time off. So like when I put out the 2 channels this year, January 18th, everything for the month of January was done before January started. So like I had the 3 uploads on Horoscope, 3 uploads on the Spanish channel. I had my announcement video plus the next 2 uploads on Swanky Box, and then I had the whole month already planned out or scheduled out for Swanky Zone. So like that month was awesome because like when people were at MagFest, I was actually in Florida, just bumming around, having a good time, relaxing, not thinking about work. So that's one of the benefits to it.
Instead of getting sick for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I do not. I've gotten the MagFest plague twice already, so
if I go again, I'm absolutely wearing a face mask. I'm straight up just gonna wear it. I don't care if people think it looks weird. I'm wearing it. I'm tired of getting sick to every con I go to.
Coronavirus. We'll talk about coronavirus next podcast.
Minus cast
what it's
7.
like to have coronavirus because we're going to Boston.
Well, I'll be like in the hospital, like.
Yeah, exactly.
God, that's dude.
And with that,
on that high note,
thank you so much for tuning in to this episode 6 of Minus Cast, and then we will see you all very, very soon
in the next
with episode
one.
7. May not be on coronavirus, may be on coronavirus.
Depends on if we die from it or get sick. We'll see.
Yeah.
I wonder if K's will make a coronavirus.
Coronavirus 64. How would he even? I can't imagine. How would he do that? Maybe you play as Mario, and the goal is to get Bowser sick and kill him from the virus.
your health just slowly degrades.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like you're constantly in hazy maze fog.
Yeah.
Mine might jump to Super Mario Sunshine and you're shooting Corona, which isn't at all coronavirus, but like,
That's the
Oh
sequel.
yeah.
yeah.
Coronavirus
sequel.
2 Sunshine.
Anyways, thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you all next time.
See you guys.
See you in a bit.
in a bit. Nice hat, by the way.
In a bit. I don't
thanks.
have an invisible hat.